Hey Danish tubers, and welcome back to Module 1, Part 1, Læseforståelse 1. I'm here, I've just grabbed myself a cup of coffee in my beautiful DanishTube cup. Remember, if you love DanishTube and you like this course, you might consider getting yourself one of these so you can, flash DanishTube while learning Danish. Anyway, what are we going to do in Læseforståelse 1? Let's take a look. Basically, this is how you play. Søg information, search for information, skim or scan for the information, og svare kort og præcist. Right? So you're not going to be reading as such, you're going to be more scanning and trying to find the information. You have two documents, let's say, opgavehæfte or teksthæfte. So that is the task and the text. So you have in one side, on the one hand, you have the task, the questions that you need to answer, and in the other document, we have the text in which we need to scan and find the answers. And that, my friends, is essentially the task. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example, and I'm going to go through the entire task, so you can get a good idea of how to answer, how to find the information, and what to look out for. And then later in this course, in the final module, you'll have the chance to practice exactly this on your own. So let me reshare my screen. Here we go, my friends. This is an example. This is a previous year's exam from November, December 2022, Læseforståelse 1. And as you can see, here is the opgavehæfte, so our questions. And on the other side, we have our teksthæfte with the text. So very simply, as I've already mentioned, it says here, der er en tekstsamling og et opgavehæfte. Læs først instruktionen i opgavehæftet. So read the instructions in the task document. And you have 25 minutter, 25 minutes to complete it. Let's see if we can do it in 25 minutes. So, read the instructions. Søg informationer i tekstsamlingen Vikinger før og nu. Search for information in the text document, or the textbook, Vikings before and now. So it's really important that you highlight, get used to, familiar with this little word here, søg informationer, because that's the important part of this. Search for information. You don't need to sit here reading this entire text. You just need to find the relevant information and answer the question. And it says here, svar præcist og kort på spørgsmålene. Answer precisely and shortly the questions. Der gives 1 point for hver korrekt svar. 1 point for every correct answer. Seems easy enough, right? Let's take a look. First question. Søg informationer under 3 vikingeattraktioner. So in our document over here, we can already see, if we go to the, the index, the table of contents rather, I can see here 3 vikingeattraktioner already on page number 5. So in each question, there's little sections, right? There's a section here with 3 questions, then there's another section with 2 questions, and so on and so on. So that's the first thing, where to find the information. Then we need to look at the question and understand it well, right? So let's take a look. Hvorfra har Ribe Vikingecenter viden om, hvilke råvarer der indgik i vikingernes mad? So, of course, the important thing is to understand really well the question. So you need to spend a bit of time. Of course, you need to go quickly, but spend a bit of time making sure what are the keywords. Because essentially, that's what you're looking for. A keyword, nøgleord. It's nøgleord. So for me, it is this word hvorfra, which means where from. And we're looking for Ribe Vikingecenter. So where has Ribe Vikingecenter got their information on, their viden om, hvilke råvarer der indgik i vikingernes mad? And råvarer is basically, the base ingredients, the produce that they used in their food. So our keyword, the keyword of all keywords here is the word mel, right? We're looking for something about food. So that's sort of the rules of this game. Find a keyword and then go and find it in the text. So if we now go to 3 vikingeattraktioner and look for a section about food. Okay, down on page 5, still number 5. Here is 3 vikingeattraktioner, Ribe. Perfect, we're in the right place. Now I just need to scan this and look for something about food. So I'm scanning here, scan. Is anything about food? I don't see anything about food here. Scan down a bit more. Okay, I can see here there's something vikingeattraktioner til alle tider. And here's a little bonus tip. I've seen quite a few of these, and very often you might have to scroll down the page to find the information you want. Now, I'm not saying go directly down, but a little trick you can use is look at these subtitles, right? The subtitle has the word vikingeattraktioner in it. So I can see right away, okay, this is about food. Whereas here it says, kort om Ribe Vikingecenter. Use that to your advantage. You might be able to cut out a lot of blah blah and go directly to the source. So start by looking at the subtitles and see, is there anything there? So here's something about food, and right away I can see a keyword from our question, råvarer. Ribe Vikingecenter sætter fokus på vikingernes råvarer og madtraditioner og gør samtidig op med forestilling om, at vikingemad skulle være besværlig. Okay. Right away I can see this keyword, råvarer. Ribe Vikingecenter sætter fokus på vikingernes råvarer. They have focus on their produce, right? Their madtraditioner, their food traditions. But it doesn't say anything yet about where they get this information from. So I'm probably going to continue a bit here. Let me just scan. I can see the word råvarer again here. Okay, and if I go back and read this entire sentence, arkeologiske udgravninger giver os dog et godt billede af, hvilke råvarer, der var tilgængelige i vikingetiden. And let me just go back and read the part before. Ingen ved ganske vist, hvordan vikingernes mad smagte, da der ikke er bevaret opskrifter fra den tid. Right? Nobody knows for sure how Viking food tasted because there's no sort of preserved recipes from that time. But it continues, arkeologiske udgravninger giver os dog et godt billede. So our answer is, where did they get the information from? Arkeologiske udgravninger. That is our answer. Now I can go back to here and write very simply arkeologiske udgravninger. Boom. Slut. Næste spørgsmål. Hvad hedder det sted på Vikingeskibsmuseet, hvor man kan opleve originale vikingeskibe? Hvad hedder det sted? What is the place called at the Viking Ship Museum where you can experience originale vikingeskibe, original Viking ships? So the keyword maybe is Vikingeskibsmuseet, opleve originale vikingeskibe. What is the place called at the museum? Let's take a look. So right away on the next page, I can see Vikingeskibsmuseet i Roskilde. So it has to be something here, and I'm scanning for this word, originale vikingeskibe. I'm pretty sure it's got to be here somewhere. Aha, originale vikingeskibe. I found the keyword. So now if I read back the entire sentence, museet er kendt for det enestående samspil mellem de 5 originale vikingeskibe, kaldet skuldelivsskibene, som man kan opleve i vikingeskibshallen. Aha, another keyword, opleve. You can experience them i vikingeskibshallen. So where can you experience them? In the Viking ship hall, vikingeskibshallen. That is our answer, my friends. Very simple. So I can now just write vikingeskibshallen. Or I might actually write E, because technically it's in. I vikingeskibshallen. Boom. Nummer 3. Hvad fremhæves ved vikingeborgen Trelleborg, udover at den har en forborg? This is a tricky one, but it's a question that I've seen a bunch of times. What is highlighted at the fort, the Viking fort, Trelleborg, fort, borg meaning fort, apart from, when it says here, udover at, apart from that it has a foreball. Foreball, I think, is the fall at the front. You know, maybe the sort of, the part of the front. Anyway, it's not essential that you completely understand all of the small details of the question. The way that you have to play this game is, what are the keywords and what is the answer? So, hvad fremhæves, what is highlighted about this place? Apart from. Very, very important about this question. Apart from. So, you're looking for måske the word udover, måske the word forball, and the other thing that is important about this place, tralleball. Of course, we're looking for tralleball. Let's go over to the document and find where they're talking about that. Here we go, tralleball. So what was my keyword? Forball, udover. Okay. I spotted right away down here, forball. In befæstet forball. So now let me go back and read the entire sentence. At disse Agerborg den største, mens Trelleborg langt den bedst bevarede, og i øvrigt den eneste mellem befæstet forball. So what you might find is they use slightly different way to say the same. So in the question it was over, which is apart from, and here in the text it says i øvrigt, which is kind of another way of saying the same on top of that. So what is our answer? What thing is highlighted apart from this over here? It is, of course, that, let me just get the highlighter pen again. Trelleborg den bedst bevarede. Langt den bedste bevarede. There we go. So you could put a simple, what could it be? Hvad fremhæves? Vikingerborg and Trelleborg. At den den langt bedste bevarede. That would be my answer. At den den langt bedste bevarede. You're probably going to get away with it and get the point if you just put bedste bevarede, langt bedste bevarede. But of course, you want to try and also make it understandable, like a good answer to the question. So when I use the word at here, it's like saying that it is the best preserved. Yeah, it's by far the best preserved. That was our answer. Let's continue with the next section. And now it says, søg informationer under vikinger som varemærke. Search for information under Vikings as product brands. Something like that. Question is, hvad ønsker Viking at signalere om deres produkter ved at bruge vikinger i deres varemærker? Okay, what do Viking wish, ønsker, what does this brand Viking wish to signal about their products by using Vikings in their varemærker, in their branding? Keywords. Måske at signalere, maybe. As produkter. Varemærke. Trickier one maybe this time. The important thing is we're looking for this brand, Viking, and what it is about their products or why it is that they want to use Vikings in their branding. Let's see, can we find that? Vikinger som varemærke. Let me go back to the table of contents just to make this easy for myself. Something about varemærke in. Yes, number T, Vikinger som varemærke. Okay, let's go down to side number T, page 10. Okay, here we go. So I can see right away here on this side to the left is written about Viking Bluenter. So it has to be over here somewhere. Can I see anything about varemærke? Something about vare. Okay. Okay, but this seems very general. Let me scroll down a little bit more, see if there's anything else down here. Now it's going in a bit more detail about Viking. It's Et eksempel på et firma, der har brugt vikinger både i firmaets navn og i det kunstneriske udtryk. So they've used it both in their name and also their artistic expression. I see the word produkter down here. What was our keywords? Produkter. There's a keyword. And if I now read back this sentence, Viking bruger vikinger kommercielt, og navnet og designet giver et indtryk af produkter, der er solide og holdbare. Aha. Here is our answer. Why are they using Vikings as in their branding? For at give et indtryk af, an impression of products, der er solide og holdbare. I would take that entire sentence and write, for at give et indtryk af produkter, der er solide og holdbare. Right? To give an impression of products that are solid and, what is it? Holdbar. What is the word? Durable. Solid and durable. Så hvad ønsker de at signalere? What do they wish to signal, to communicate almost? At deres produkter er solide og holdbare. Nice. Number 5. Hvad er historisk ukorrekt ved hjelmene i logoerne fra Struens og Gøl? What is historically incorrect about the helmets i logoerne, in the logos fra Struens og Gøl? So I also wanted to highlight here that you have to be a little careful that you don't, for example, the first question that you go over on the other side here, and now you're reading about a different brand. There might be some information here that you could take that fits with the answer for the previous question, but you've taken it from the wrong place. You have to be very, very careful here. But now we're looking at Struens and something about the helmets. I feel like our keywords, historisk ukorrekt, hjelmene, something about the horns. Let's see, can we see anything about that? Hjelmene, ukorrekt, kommerciel. That was in our question, wasn't it? Historisk, oh no, it wasn't at all. What am I saying? That doesn't matter. See, hjelm. I can see the word hjelm here. Historisk ukorrekt. I found the keyword, so the answer has to be here. I begge logoer findes den hjelm med horn, som vi i dag straks forbinder med vikinger, selvom det er historisk ukorrekt. Aha. So what is our answer? Hvad er historisk ukorrekt ved hjelmene? Hornene. Yeah, the horns. The horns is basically the answer, right? However you want to write it, hjelm med horn, you can just copy it. Again, it's a little bit unnatural in a sense, but maybe I would write that they had horns. At the hill horn. Boom. Perfect. Let's say the next section. 7 informationer under arven fra vikingerne. Now it's the inheritance from the Vikings. Nogle danskere får tatoveret motiver fra vikingetiden. Hvilken egenskab ønsker de at vise med disse tatoveringer? Some Danes get tattooed with motifs from the Viking age. What characteristic do they wish to show with these tattoos? Okay. So keyword, egenskab, tatovering, of course. And we need to go to Arven fra vikingerne. Okay. And I'm just going to go again back up to the table of contents just so I don't waste any time or get stressed trying to find it. Is there anything here that says that? Yeah, back up on page number 3, side number 3. So let's go for that. No, yeah, it's right here. Arven fra vikingetiden. So I'm looking for something about tattoos, tatoveringer. And actually what I mentioned earlier about looking at the headings, right away I've spotted vikinger motiver som symboler i dag. Super relevant for our answer. Has to be in here somewhere. Take a little bit of coffee while I continue playing this little game of PD3. I found the word ironscape down here and tattoo here. So our answer is around here. Let's go back and read the entire sentence. Maybe just before vikinger og vikingetidens genstande bliver ofte brugt som symboler på styrke. Styrke anses som en meget positiv egenskab, og nogle danskere vælger derfor at få tatoveret motiver af vikingegenstande fra vikingetiden. Perfect. So Vikings and the Viking Age, the Viking Age's items, genstande, they're often used as symbols of strength, styrke, and strength is perceived as a very positive characteristic. So some Danes choose, therefore, to get these tattooed motives, of Viking items from the Viking Age. So what is our answer? Let's just check the question again. Hvilken egenskab ønsker de at vise? What characteristic do they wish to show? Strength. Styrke. I can get away with just one word for this one. Next question. Going really well. Hvad er konkurrencerne ved Mosegaard Museum i vikingeaktiviteter som våbenbrug og redning kendt som what? Again. Hvad er konkurrencerne ved Mosegaard Museum i vikingeaktiviteter som våbenbrug og redning kendt som? That was a tricky question because it's kind of like back to front. You have to sort of figure out what they're talking about. So keywords, konkurrencerne, there's some kind of competition. What are the competitions at Mosegaard Museum? And these competitions are in Viking activities such as weapon use and riding, keywords. What is these competitions known as? Hint, some. And it's also a pretty common question, I think, known as looking for the name of something. What are we looking for? The name of these competitions. Keywords, konkurrencerne, våbenbrug og redning, kendt som. I have a feeling that the words kendt som are going to be in the text. Let's have a look. We're looking for something about the museum. I can see here this new heading, vikingeaktiviteter. That was also in our question, right? Vikingeaktiviteter, keyword, gotta be down here. I've already spotted Mosegaard Museum. Okay, now I'm looking for maybe konkurrence, something with that. You see it? Okay, not actually. But I have found the word words kendt som, known as. So if I now read this entire sentence, let me go all the way back to here. Vikingeentusiaster fra hele verden optræder med deres kunden inden for våbenbrug og redning. Det var keywords. Kunst, håndværk, dagligvarer og madlavning og kampene. Vikingeentusiasterne udkæmper er kendt som det uofficielle VM i vikingekamp. Og kampene, vikingeentusiasterne udkæmper, so the fights that they perform almost, are known as the uofficielle VM i vikingekamp. That's our answer. What are these competitions known as? The uofficielle VM i vikingekamp. Sweet. That is our answer. The uofficielle VM i vikingekamp. Let me double check that because that was quite a long answer. VM i vikingekamp. Yeah, perfect. So you can see, right? Often the controls in this sense is you're hitting the same buttons as what you've read. You're in the question and in the text, right? You're often almost copying the answer. You're finding it in the text and copying it almost. Of course, be careful. Read back the question and see if you can make sure that you've answered it in a way that makes sense. Sometimes you might just copy something and it doesn't kind of ring too well. So then it looks a bit like you kind of understood it, but not really. Number 8, nummer 8. Hvad er navnet på det officielt godkendte, trossamfund, der dyrker vikingernes guder? Aha. Again, we're looking for a name, keyword, asatros. And if I'm not mistaken, asatros is the worshipping of the Viking gods. Wel een navn på det. Det officielt godkendte asatros-samfund. Asatros-samfund, ja. Der dyrker vikingeguder. Okay, keywords. Asatros-samfund. Maybe vikingernes guder, the Vikings gods, the Viking gods. Let's take a look, see if we can find that word. Asatros. I've spotted it right away. Boom. Asatros-samfundet. I asatros-samfundet von Søre dyrkes de nordiske vikingeguder. Okay, I found it really fast. Which one of those words looks like a name? It's these two words together, right? Von Søre. It's a tricky one because it's not super obvious. But how do I know that's a name? It has two capital letters. And in Danish, the only time you have capitals is either with a name or with a country. So that is my answer. Let me put that in. I'm pretty confident with that. Von Søre. Honestly, I don't really know how you pronounce it well, but Søre. Not important. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's still quite a few questions left, but I'm eager to get it done. Did we do it in 25 minutes? I'm not sure that we did. Doesn't matter. I'm sort of going in a bit more detail than you would be under during the exam. Søg informationer under film og tv med vikingetema. Hvorfor er vikingernes guder i filmen Valhalla gjort menneskelige? Why are the Viking gods in the film Valhalla made human? Keywords. Hvorfor? Why? That's not a keyword we're going to find in the text, but it's important. We need to answer why. Gjort menneskelige. I feel like the word menneskelige is going to be in the text. Why are they? And guder, of course. So now we need to look for film or TV med vikingetema. Let's go back up to the table of contents. Yes, film or TV med vikingetema. Film number 8. Page number 8. Let's do it, let's do it. Okay. I'm looking for what? What am I looking for? I forgot. Guder menneskelige. Okay. And it was under Valhalla. Also important. Again, we have subheadings here, different films or TV series or something. It's important that we're looking under Valhalla. So as I scan down here, I'm looking for something with guder, something with menneskelige, maybe. Haven't seen anything yet. We scroll back up. Guder. There we go. There's a keyword. If I go back and read the entire sentence. Kendte danske skuespillere har lagt stemme til de forskellige figurer, hvilket gør, at blandt andet de forskellige nordiske guder træder i karakter. Okay. Haven't really got my answer as to why they've been made human yet, so I'm going to continue scanning a bit. Here's the word guder again. Identificere, okay. Menneskelige. I see the word menneskelige down here. So I'm going to read the entire thing here. I tegnefilmen bliver myterne gjort let tilgængelige, blandt andet ved at vikingernes guder bliver gjort menneskelige. Aha. Så man kan identificere sig med dem. Okay. In the animation, the cartoon, the movie, the animated movie, the myths are made. Let tilgængelige means something like easily accessible. Among other things, blandt andet by the Viking gods being made human. So you can identify with them. So there's almost two answers in here, right? So I could possibly choose one or the other. It could be this thing with let tilgængelige, or it could be at identificere sig. You could write one, or you could write both. Let me go back to the question. Hvorfor er vikingernes guder i filmen Valhalla gjort menneskelige? I would answer, so you can identify with them. Så man kan identificere sig med dem. eller for at man kan identificere sig med dem, even better. So that one can identify with them. Easy. Perfect. You could also again just think, what could it be? Hvorfor er det mening? For at gøre dem let tilgængelige. So it's a little tricky because we're now almost, with this example, rewording a little bit, using verbs in different tenses. But as long as we get sort of the right words in there, the key words, you're probably going to get a point, right? If you've got the word identificere sig or let tilgængelige, even if you've just written the word alone, probably going to be enough to get you by. Nummer 10. Hvorfor blev Jul i Valhall genudsendt på dansk? Hvornår blev Jul i Valhall genudsendt på dansk TV 2? So firstly, keyword, Jul i Valhall. This is now the film we're looking at. And for me, the keyword is genudsendt. And of course, TV2. Jul i Valhall, genudsendt TV2. Let's see. Here we can see right away, Jul i Valhall. I can see the words TV2. Sendte 2005. I had to be careful here because the keyword was genudsendt, and that means resent. When were they resent? Almost like, when you have a rerun in TV. So let me just read this part here. I december 2005 sendte TV2 for første gang julekalenderen Jul i Valhall. So this is not my answer. It says they sent it for the first time. Maybe I could scan for a date, and if I scroll down, I've already spotted a bunch of dates down here. 2000, 2010, 2006, and the word genudsendt. Julekalenderen blev vist på TV2 i Norge i 2006, og blev genudsendt på TV2 i Danmark i 2012. Okay. So it's good that I read the rest of it, because I might have just been tempted to say 2006. But actually, that was when it was sent out in Norway, whereas it was genudsendt på TV2 i Danmark i 2012. So our answer is 2012. Oh yeah, we're almost there, friends. Number 11. Hvad hedder den rekonstruerede vikingeborg, hvor Far til 4 og vikingerne er indspillet? Okay. Pretty straightforward one this time, right? What is the reconstructed Viking fort called? Hvad hedder det, hvor Far til 4 og vikingerne er indspillet? Keywords: rekonstrueret vikingerborg, Far til 4. Let's see, can we find this? Far til 4 here. And rekonstrueret, I think that word has to be in here somewhere. Yeah, I spotted it. Rekonstrueret. So I'm going to go back, read the sentence. Familien skal leve som vikinger i en uge, så de tager til et familieterapisted, som er virkelighedens Ravnsborg. Der er en vikingerborg, der blev rekonstrueret af den kendte designer Jim Lyngvild. Sådan. Easy, right? We had one earlier, there was a name. This one is also a name. What is it called? It's called Ravnsborg. Sådan. Boom. Pretty happy with that. Ravnsborg. So, a little trick, whenever you're looking for a name, you're always looking for a capital letter. Nummer 12. Hvordan forsøger skuespillerne at tale engelsk for at få tv-serien Vikings til at virke mere autentisk? Great question. Yeah, how do the actors, skuespillerne, attempt speaking English to make the TV series Vikings seem more authentic? So for me here, the thing is keywords, of course, Vikings, autentisk, tale engelsk. Let's find it. Vikings, they're here, it's right here already. So we're already in the right place. We need to find something omkring autentisk. Autentisk, spotted it already, right here. Ikke også? Det er tænkt grundigt over at forholde sig til historiske fakta for at give noget, der ligner en autentisk oplevelse. Okay, but there's nothing here about speaking English, so I need to continue. I don't know, my engelsk. Yes, scanner. I cannot see the word English. But I can see another word that we had in our question, which was forsøger at tale. We go back to the question. Hvordan forsøger skuespillerne at tale engelsk for at få det til at virke mere autentisk? So I think it's here. For example, tales der engelsk. There was the word English. I couldn't see it. Selvom historien foregår i Skandinavien. Men skuespillerne forsøger at tale med nordisk accent for at få serien til at virke mere autentisk. Great. There's all of our keywords in one place. So the answer is at tale med nordisk accent. Hvordan forsøger de at tale engelsk med nordisk accent? Med nordisk accent. With a Nordic accent. Perfect. Smash. Okay. 3 left. Here we go. 7 informationer under. 3 danskere fortæller om deres forhold til vikingerne. Nummer 13. Hvad er Marcelle Morena især glad for at lære mere om ved at læse gamle sagaer? Okay. This could be a little tricky, but so the key, of course, here is firstly her name, Marcella. We need to find her. I think it's interesting because it says især glad for. And I've seen this quite a few times, which means especially happy for. What does she especially like about reading these old sagas? That tells me they might name several things, but we're looking for the one thing that she is especially happy about. Let's have a look. Marcella. And I think this is at the end, so I can just scroll right down. Here we go. 3 danskere fortæller. Marcella Morena. Maybe our keyword might be glad for. Lære mere om. Glad for, lære mere om. Yeah. So glad for eller lære gamle sagaer. Few keywords. I'm scanning. I found the word især. Jeg især begejstret for. So begejstret for is just another way of saying glad for. So this is also something you have to look out for. Quite often, they might use a synonym. It's sort of a cheat that they input, where they try to catch you out a little bit. But hun er begejstret for, at vi i dag gennem skriftlige kilder og arkeologiske udgravninger ved meget om kvindens rolle i samfundet dengang. Okay. So right away we've got an answer. Something that she's especially excited about is learning about the woman's role in society back then. Let's read a little bit more. Hernede, jeg er meget interesseret i ligestilling, og derfor læser de gamle sagaer. There we go, we have a keyword here, sagaer. It's almost like there's sort of 2 responses here. So it could be ligestilling, which means equality, and it could also be kvindens rolle i samfundet. And I would be tempted to go really just for this one, because it's closer to this især begejstret for. I think both would be acceptable, but I'm going with that. So hvad er hun især glad for? At lære mere om kvindens rolle i samfundet. She's particularly happy about learning about women's role in society. Number 14. Hvad har Julia Puggaard, great name, didn't know how to say it really, lært om vikingernes betydning for det engelske sprog, okay? Så Julia for det første, keyword, her name. Hvad har hun lært om vikingernes betydning for det engelske sprog? So the Vikings' meaning for the English language. Basically, how has the Vikings influenced the English language? So of course, engelske sprog, keyword, maybe the word betydning might be in there. Let's have a look. Julia, hvor er du? Her er Julia. I'm going to look directly for the word betydning. Betydel. I can see the word betydel down here. So if I read the sentence, lærerne fortalte historie fra den nordiske mytologi. Vi legede også nogle af vikingernes lege og lavede vikingemad. Så lærte jeg rigtig meget om vikingerne og hvad de har betydet for mange ting. Okay, mange ting som hvad? Many things like what? Let's continue. Let's scroll up. For eksempel lærte vi om, at mange af de danske navne på ugedage og steder ligner navne på de nordiske guder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is saying many of the Danish weekdays, the names, they are from the Nordic gods. That's not related to English language. Let's see if there's anything else about English in here. Jeg vidste godt, at de nordiske vikinger blandt andet kunne sejle til England, hvor de handlede, og at mange af dem faktisk også blev der. Så ja, many Vikings went to England, many of them stayed there. Men nu har jeg også lært, at der faktisk er mange nordiske låneord i det engelske sprog. Okay, now we've hit it, right? Now we're talking about the English language, and there are many Nordic loan words in the English language. Let's go back to the question. Hvad har hun lært om? Hun har lært, at der er mange, I would write here, at der er mange nordiske låneord i sproget. Let me just double check that. Am I answering that right? I det engelske sprog. Nordiske låneord i det engelske sprog. Sådan, ja. Yeah. Maybe I just write just to make it clear. I det engelske sprog. Sådan, last question, nummer 15. Hvor sælger Asbjørn Asgaard sine varer? Okay, where does Asbjørn Asgaard, great name by the way, sell his products? Sine varer. Sælger varer, hvor? Okay, let's see. Asbjørn. Maybe the word varer, products, might be the key here. Let's see, can we see that word anywhere? Mine varer. Det er blandt andet smykker, knive og tekster. 1 second, I just need to click on meat so it doesn't close down here. There we go. Okay, so I can see that right at the end here we have jeg rejser rundt til vikingemarkeder og vikingefestivaler, hvor jeg viser mine varer frem og fortæller om baggrunden for produktionen og af dem. Og så sælger jeg dem selvfølgelig. So that was the key thing here, that he was selling them. So where is he selling them? Vikingemarkeder og vikingefestivaler. We can add that right down here, number 15, and boom, level complete. Otherwise, my friends, I would say we made some pretty good fremskridt during that. That is progress. And we're up to about 12%, about 12% through this little course, unpacking how to play PD3. Godt gået. Vi ses i den næste video, hvor vi skal kigge lidt på Læseforståelse 2. We're going to look at the second part to this reading comprehension.